Hello and good morning, loves. This is JAH with EQ with JAH. So today's topic that has just fell upon my heart that I'm realizing as I get older, this is something that we all have gone through if you are older and we are going through as you're getting older. And that is when you get to that point in life where you recognize that you understand the awareness of yourself and your decisions and your likes and who you are and what you want and what you do. Let's say you follow every law and rule precisely and you've done it right to the standards of what functional adults look like, right? You did that. Now you get to a point of, okay, I feel guilty for doing what I like. I feel bad for not knowing if I should do this because my mom didn't like this or my dad didn't agree with this. And these become energetic timelines and imprints that don't belong to us. They were there to give us a structure to follow, but as we get older, just as the seed has to split the rib to become the sprout, to become the plant that goes through the ground, to become its own tree, to bear its own fruit and seed, and go through all the seasons and weather again, which is the phoenix transferring over and over and over. That is literally a tree is the best example of our phoenix moments. It's to be beautiful every day, and every season it's going to shed and go through a point of decay to get better and stronger because that's how evolution works. What's been happening is for my own story that's necessary to share, I became both of my parents' karma. Recently, my mother, bless her heart, she was a strong woman growing up during her time frame in a very rough city like Chicago, trying to figure out who she was. So she became a very dominant alpha personality. My father, I don't know too much about him, but I know that he had a very creative soul and spirit, and he was very much a hippie per se. But it turns out he had secrets. It may he have been gay, bi, or other. My father was sleeping with men on the side. Now, this is something where someone says, well, see, genetically, that's probably why you're gay. Maybe. But I know this much. My mom, because she respected him so much, protected him to his death, which actually did a disservice to herself because she spent her entire life trying to protect us from secrets that we needed to know. Our dad was already absent. He wasn't there. In my mind, he was past the deadbeat. He didn't even call or even reach out to let us know he was alive until the day he died. So this is something that mothers take on because she took that on from her mother, where she was in foster care and she went through all these elements of changing environments. And that's why when it came back to me, she's like, you know what? I don't care if my kids grow up not feeling like I'm connected to them emotionally. I need to know that they can function in this world with everything that's going on and what's thrown at them. And she did that perfectly. But the balance of duality became we were too functional. We know how to do everything without anybody. Me and my brothers, we know how to get up, start it, do it, bam, done. But the loving conversations that needed to be had between siblings, the loving conversations that needed to be had between parents and children, they weren't always had because there was a confine of control and structure. Now let's fast forward that to a functioning adult who wants to go out and hang out with their friends and have a drink and do something. They met somebody they want to go home with and hang out. All of a sudden they have all these guilt. Oh, you can't go home with them, and you got to do this and you can't do. It's not about what you do, it's how you do it, and that will always be the case. If you decide to sleep with every single person, that's your choice. If you decide to drink every drip drop of every drink down to the bottle, that is your choice. But the byproduct of those choices is the free will that you decided in that moment were yours to choose. But what we most of us do, we use the timelines of our ancestors and our parents to make decisions about our current present being in a time that does not exist then. Technology, emotions, evolution has gone way past that point of when you were taught that. You know what I'm saying? So to hold on to something that no longer serves you, and then you go around your daily life projecting this emotion, getting anxiety, feeling sad about things that aren't necessarily happening to you, but have happened to you, this is where the shadow work kicks in because you're not allowing yourself to let go of what you no longer need to just function in society. And our parents don't tell us this. So with that being said, I became the hidden sad broke down man that my father was, because he didn't know who to go to, because clearly no one loved him enough to let him know he can be himself, and he had to fake a life that he didn't want to fake. And he did the one thing that no man should do, which is make a woman fall in love with you just to break their heart, because what a woman gives through the tangible form is us, the physical form. I will always, as a gay man, give my credit to my female counterparts with the biological bodies, because you carry us. This is part of the cycle, and I will never and can never take that away from you. Just the same as a man who gives back to produce children. Your seed produces crops, or it can produce weeds. It is up to you on who it's going to feed and how it feeds you back in return. Because if all you're producing is weeds, guess what, baby? Everywhere you go, you're going to have to do a lot of control around wherever you didn't step. That's energy. I call it energy trails, where you done left energy trail over here and left an imprint over there, and broken side a person over here. And guess what? In your mind, I'm the best version I can be. I'm trying to love the best way I can. Exactly. The best way you can love is how you've been taught love. And when you start taking back the power of what you were taught and how you implement it, which is when I say there's theory and there's funk, and there's theory and there's application. Theory is everything that we think we feel up until the point of awareness, when we consciously wake up and say, I am my mother's child, but I am not their behavior. I am not their decisions. I am not their tone of voice, their disagreement, none of that. This is the part of emotional intelligence that I believe in, because if we're not able to just sit still and talk through whatever voices we want to call them, let all of them talk at once, as long as you're allowing the emotion to be had, so that when the emotion is gone and clear and you're like, why am I still mad? I'm not sure. A lot of those voices are silent, and all you hear is your ego mind responding to your soul's heart saying, baby, we've been doing this long and it ain't brought nothing good for us. Well, why we been doing this? I've been trying to tell you, but you said that physically that's not how you feel. You said that you didn't want to sit over there. You said, I can't make you walk over there and talk to the person that's going to change your life for the rest of your life if you choose that emotionally you're not ready or capable of it, because you're carrying energy from someone who didn't know how to be loved prior to you. This is what we've done to our generations, and we, as the next generation, have to start taking credit for it. No one's telling you you can't get up and do nothing that you don't already do in the dark with your friends, or when no one else is finding out. This is where seedy behavior still feels like it's real, and the people that we meet in that darkness feels like the real love. Yeah, there are some good people in seediness, because everyone has a good heart in their own way. But at the same time, understanding that the seediness of the culture of behavior is not who you are. It's just the concept of experiencing things that you normally would get chastised for as an individual. That's why we have gangs and groups of people who like to pick on each other, because that's homosocialism, back to the point of what we were taught. As long as the group supports me, then I feel safe enough to do or say this. But when the group's not around, who am I? Who am I trying to impress? Who am I trying to be? And that's where you have to go back and say, well, who am I trying to impress? And why the fuck am I not trying to impress myself as much as I'm wasting energy trying to impress people who are not around, not available, and don't care about me in my times of need? Yes, there is love for everyone if they want to find it. But the point is when you love yourself enough, you don't have to seek it out. You, at that point, stop being that boat that's been searching and searching the dark seas, refusing to dive in deep and find out. And if you did dive in deep and find out and you feel lost and can't get back home, that's when you sit still and just wait. Wait it out, honey. It's the hardest part, but who said a seed gets released? Who said a seed ever gets relief? Nobody. The seed carries the weight on the world, honey. And that is the point of all of our bodies. We are one seed, one cell, one integration of whatever we need to be that helps everyone else become a reflection of themselves. That's why culture is what it is. That's why trends are what they are. People have stopped looking inside of themselves, and they look outwardly for that validation, and they forget that they can validate themselves simply for being present. Just being present in what they know of how they think they love and how they know they love. How I think I love, I think that I am this big old nurturing mother who's always giving and available to everyone. How I know I love? I'm kind of a hermit and I'm closed off, and it takes a minute for people to get into my world. These are my intentions and my intent. My intent can want to be to love everyone endlessly and be a overflowing tap for everyone to tap into. But my intentions, they're like, nah, homie, you had a long day, or nah, boo boo, you gotta take time for you. This is too much. I love you, but things happen. When this shift in energy happens, there's no good or bad or guilt. It's ebb and flow. All you did was shift your priorities. And now what was important is on the bottom, and what's more important now is on top. And that should always be you. You should always be able to put yourself presently first so that you're aware of how you're presenting the character of who you want to be, not who you're trying to be, but the character of who you want to be is so effortless and flawless that it just exudes beauty and perfection, because this is what a good actor is, or a good actress, or a good singer, or a good performer. It's not about it is about the technique, but it's about the stage presence and how you own it. And if you mess up or slip up, you just keep going and don't make it look like it was ever a mistake, because there are no mistakes, just a moment of a misstep. All missteps lead to correction, which is, now I got the wisdom. Now I remember that last time. Oop, ain't gonna get me this time. So the reason I wanted to really make this video is everything starts with the womb. Any work that I do, you have to go back to a place of vulnerable, like just being vulnerable, being open, being innate to what you feel, and then walking through every single thing, word, phrase, timeline, sense, emotions that make you think you feel a certain way and you're not able to deal with it. And actually walk through it as an adult and love yourself through it and say, baby, we didn't know what we didn't know then. And you are alive and thriving now, and you are just fine. When you get up and go to work and do your thing, or you're at home taking care of yourself, you're doing it. You're not beating yourself up. You're not trying to run outside and run into a tree and bust your head open, because if that was the case, you wouldn't be here talking, breathing with me right now. You know what I mean? And this is the point of anything. Trace it back to where it started so that you can let it go, and then you are able to depart and walk off knowing that's a timeline I never have to go back to, and I got all the wisdom I need to deal with once I got it. And if it comes back into my present life, I actually know how to walk through it appropriately so that my emotions and my understanding of life are aligned and in tune with my best self. Not the world's, not my mama's, not my country's, not my city's, none of that. Me. If I'm not aligned with myself inside, then anything I express to you won't matter, because it's going to come through a jaded filter of misunderstanding, abused timelines, and unhealed imprints. So love yourself today and start remembering you don't need permission to create. Keep creating new emotions, new experiences, new goals and aspirations, because every time you do that, you create a new synapses, a new memory, a new goal, a new energy that's able to say, yes, vibrate up. And then every day you wake up and you're just a big goofball like me. All right. I thank you guys for watching this long. Always and forever. I love you. Besos. Have a great day.